I was worried. I wasn't getting yours at first. But
Oh, no, you're good now?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So can we start? Are you, Zachary? Are we?
I'm all set. Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to do a quick intro with this one because everything looks great. Zachary's done such a great job. And then we'll just jump right on into the interview, and will be unedited. This is our first unedited show, so here we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Wagner. I am Dr. Truett Wagner. I am here in New York City in our new studio with the very beautiful, very caring, and very, very sweet Lowery Lockard. We just made a mistake, but we're going to leave it in there. We're going to leave it in there, Zachary.
What was the mistake? That I was sweet, or what was the...
Should we just leave that in, or should we just say? Okay, second intro. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Wagner. I am Dr. Truett Wagner, and as always, I am very happy you are here. This is our first unedited show, and our first show in the podcast room, which I'm calling the Zoom room, in our new 38th Street studio, and I have picked a very special guest, very beautiful, very caring, and very, very sweet Lowery Lockard, who has done it all in the world of pageantry. She was a regular on the pageant circuit herself back in the day when she was a beautiful young woman, and now that she's a beautiful woman.
I wondered how you were going to get out of that.
Yeah, she has managed to bring Miss Wheelchair USA to a national level of recognition and appreciation. And a dear friend of mine. So hello, Lowery. How are you?
Hello, I'm wonderful. How are you?
All is good. All is good. You know, we're going to jump right in, okay? Because we only have you for a short time. And so I do want to start off by asking, you've made the statement before, when you show up for Miss Wheelchair USA, do not show up tired. It is a serious week of competition. What does that really, what do you mean by that? You keep saying, and I want everybody to understand what you actually mean by that.
Well, by not showing up tired, we talk a lot with the ladies about this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. So from the time they win their state or regional title to the end of their reign in September, that could be a year, it could be 6 months, it could be 8 months. It depends on when they win that state or regional title, but they're on from that time forward. And when they get to Miss Wheelchair USA at the national competition, they should be prepared and ready to go. And part of that preparation is being healthy, being rested, both physically and mentally, because it is a long week. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of different aspects to the week. And ultimately, it's a competition. And that part of that, just that piece of the event is stressful and tiring if you're there to win. And all the other activities and appearances and things that happen throughout the week, it's a big project. And if you wait till the last minute to get ready, if you're tired when you arrive in Ohio, that's just not a good sign. That's not a good way to start a national competition. So we really try to stress to ladies, we give as much information as humanly possible. They get a pageant Bible when they win the state or regional title. That's 60 plus pages of information and timelines and things that they could prepare well in advance. And don't wait till the week before to do that, because it's a long week and you need to be ready if you're there to win.
Yeah, I just interviewed Sarah Garver, who was the reigning Miss Wheelchair USA, and she said by like Wednesday that the exhaustion was real.
Yeah, it's a busy week, because from 10 o'clock in the morning till at least 8 or 9 every night, these ladies are on. They're at public appearances, they're doing TV shows, they're doing interviews, they're doing photo sessions. And amongst all of those things, they're also doing rehearsals for that competition that happens Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's a busy week. And for some ladies, they've never traveled. So just being in a different time zone in a hotel, doing things differently than their typical schedule can be hard on your body if you don't have a disability. And if you do have some physical challenges, that's just another piece of it. So being prepared ahead of time, being rested, being healthy, being ready to go, is very important when they arrive.
Well, it is, and I go, and I love to go. It's always one of the highlights of my year. But through it all the hard week and competing and tears and pageantry and the whole 9 yards, some of these ladies come back year after year after year,
Yeah.
or will skip a year and come back. And I remember there was
Mhm.
one year that one of the who finally won, that was her 5th year, and she actually
Right.
got coaching throughout the year. What do
Hmm.
you think brings? What happens? Why do they come back? And what is the special? It's very special, but why do you think to these contestants it is so special?
I think it depends on the individual, and certainly their background and their interests and why they choose to enter in the first place. For a lot of ladies, they enter because they don't have any female friends with disabilities. We've had ladies from states like Wyoming and Oregon and Washington where they live in very exclusive rural places out, and there aren't other individuals with disabilities. They may be the only person in town with a disability in a chair, let alone another lady. So some ladies come for that reason, just to meet other women with disabilities and share their experiences, learn from each other. So I think that's one piece of it. And at the risk of sounding very pageantry, everybody really does become friends and family, and there is a sisterhood there. There is, we've been to weddings and baptisms and funerals and all kinds of things throughout the year with ladies that have been involved. So there's so many reasons why people participate. And I think the ones that come back, they probably come for one reason their first time through. And it may not be to win, it may be to meet other ladies, or it may be to learn about pageants, it may be to learn about disability services. Who knows what their initial reason for entering is, but then they go through the experience the first time and decide, hey, I really do want to win this crown. And I really do want to have this national platform. So they go home, they learn from their experience, they study, they practice, they prepare.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some ladies get coaches, some ladies don't do as many appearances prior to coming to the nationals. So they get on that big stage under the lights and in front of TV cameras and they get nervous and scared. So they go back home and they start doing those kinds of things to prepare. And then they come back a second time. And in some ladies' cases, they come back a third time and a fourth time. We've had a couple of ladies that have come back and been first runner up 2 and 3 times before they actually win the national title. And, it's not really, at that point, it's not something that they did wrong or didn't prepare for. It's 7 to 10 judges that have one opinion. We talk about that all the time. People say, well, what did I do wrong? And a lot of times it's not about that. It's about, ultimately you have judges who are human beings and they have their own opinions, their own likes, their own dislikes, things that are interesting to them that may be totally different from the judge sitting next to them. And while we give them an outline of things that we would like to see in a Ms. Wheelchair USA, it's ultimately still their opinion about the presentation and about the competition. So we could have 2 sets of judges judging the same ladies and get 2 different winners. It ultimately can come down to that. And we've had that happen a couple of times to ladies who have been first runner up and they're like, what did I do? And it's like, you didn't do anything. It's just those people at that time. So I think there's multiple reasons why people come back. I'd like to think it's because they think I'm so sweet, like you said, but I think it's not that. It's really about the sisterhood and the experience and the opportunities that our program and the organization provides to women with disabilities every year.
Okay, so let's go to the to the fun part.
There's fun.
It is a pageant. It is a sisterhood, and I hear it, all the time that they were up late, and talking about things and sharing their emotions and what they've been through throughout the day and all the bonding that goes on. But is it true that there's always one or two that that come with their claws out that really want to just win?
Absolutely. And it may be more than one or two, it may be five or six. We've had that happen. So I mean, it's a valued opportunity. It's a valued prize. And just like any athletic competition, just like any gold medal, just like any World Series ring, any of those kinds of things, if someone has prepared and they want it, they want to win it, they're serious. And sometimes that can come with clause. We try to dissuade that as much as possible. People go, oh, it's just a bunch of women. Yeah, sometimes it is. But I mean, it's a competition and people work really hard to win that title. And it just depends on the situation and the personalities and the things that happen throughout the week. Some people like to come and play games, and that happens again in any competition situation. Um, that's not the norm for us, but there's always one or two that you go, here we go.
Yes. Yeah,
Always.
I will
Yeah.
have to say though, it's not from my experience, it has not been the norm. But
No.
but
Mm-mm.
I think people out there watching, and especially because this will be on New York TV, and then of course it'll go to YouTube. I think just it would be reminiscent not to ask that question, because at the end of the day, it is a beauty pageant, and of course that's what a lot of people think about. But I think once that. I can tell you, anybody that I have ever interviewed has said that the sisterhood is very strong. Uh,
It is. And I think again, it depends on, I mean, these are, adult women with different backgrounds. Some of them have, doctorates and are lawyers, and others are grandmas that, have graduated maybe high school and, chose to be stay-at-home moms. It's such a diverse group of individuals on top of the diversity of the disabilities that everyone has. So, it's all about personality. We laugh every once in a while and say, yeah, okay, so is this the love fest year or is this the competition year? We're not sure. Jury's still out this year because, again, it is a competition. Everybody wants to win if they come. Usually that's the case. Some people are more serious than others, and it just all depends on how the ladies mash. We've had a couple of years where it just almost was like sickening that people were so loving and supporting. It's like, did they realize that there's a competition here? And they do. And, we have a couple of years of ladies that still are in their groups, and they still talk on a regular basis. They still FaceTime. They still do all of those things. They come to the pageant, so it just really depends on that mix of personalities and, why ladies are there to win. And if we've had ladies that are all new contestants, that's very different than if you have all new contestants for the first time and then you have contestants who may have been here once or twice, and so they look at things differently too. So you kind of have that mix mash. It's always interesting. There's always a few times that you go, wow. But for the most part, ladies are there to support each other. They're there to learn. They're there to promote their platforms and to promote women with disabilities and the opportunities that they can have. So it just depends on the year.
well, it depends on the year, but you have some exciting news because, again, we're talking about the pageant, and it always gets back to those 2 nights that the pageant takes place. But there's a lot that goes on, not just within the week, but within the year. Now, you have a project coming up that's going to put Miss Wheelchair USA in a new position in the media, a different kind of crown, which I'm super excited about. I think that all of America will soon be. So, what is that? And how did that happen?
A different kind of crown is a short film and a docuseries. So it came about really from me sitting back and wondering how we could get our program at a different level in front of different people. Why people without disabilities would be interested in what we do. You kind of tend to get pigeonholed when there's any kind of disability association. People think nobody would care unless you have a disability. That's just not true. Um, People think because it's a pageant for women that men aren't interested, and that's certainly not true. So how looking at an opportunity and a way to get the information out, to get the program out, to get the stories out, to put the ladies in a different perspective, and to help others with disabilities that may have heard through their lifetime that they can't do something like this, or they can't get married, or they can't have children. And that may be a man. We've had an experience where that happened. A gentleman came, he was a young guy, told his entire life that he'd never get married. He shouldn't think about going to college. He'd certainly never have kids. Nobody would really want to be with him like that because he has a disability, has CP, and really nice looking young man, great personality. And he came to the pageant and was crying, sobbing about what was going on. I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? He said, I was always told I couldn't. And here are all these beautiful women saying that that's just not the case. Mm-hmm. And that night at that pageant changed that young man's life. And he's graduating from college. He has a girlfriend. He's driving his own car, things he was told his whole life that he couldn't do. So that was really an unexpected outcome from that particular year, because it really wasn't a contestant at all. It was someone in the audience that, one of our volunteers met and said, hey, why don't you come to the pageant? And he came and it changed his life. So wow. How to get that in front of people outside of the disability community and outside of the pageant world was a challenge. And I really believe that through a different kind of crown in both perspectives, the film and the docuseries, that we're going to be able to do that and really share a lot of opportunities with a lot of unexpected people.
Great. I know I'm excited because I know that there's the whole weekend is full of wonderful moments and tense moments and thrilling moments, The final, well, I'll just say that I always get scared after they name the top 5 and the other ones have to leave off stage or come off stage and leave the group. And I always say leave because they leave the group. I mean, they literally leave the group of competing and then they come off stage. So they do leave, but then they come off stage physically, but, they leave. Lowery, you're always doing your thing. We're backstage, those of us who are working the green room and whatever, we're holding our breath. Because we don't know what it's going to be. We don't know if they're going to come back with crying. They're going to need crying. What for you is the best moment or the most thrilling moment of because to me that's the scariest, but yet it's the best because you get to really see the raw energy going on there. So although it's terrifying, it's also the best night, the best moment of the night for me. Right. What for you? What for you? Watch everybody now get not only. Yeah.
Well, you have a whole different perspective of that too, because I am out front directing. So I only hear on my headset if there's an issue. And usually it has to be a big issue for it to get to my headset because we're in the middle of the live show. So, and we've had some of those happen. But for the most part, again, it's that excitement, it's that, and then that disappointment if you're not in the top 5, because even ladies that come and say, I'm not really here to win. I just want to meet people. I just want the experience. I just want to always say I did a pageant, whatever their case may be, once they're involved for days on end and they're working hard and they're prepared and they realize what opportunity is available should they win that crown, it's a disappointment to not win. It's sad. Everybody can't be that winner. We say everybody's a winner. Well, they are because they've gotten that far. But, at the end of the day, there's one lady that has that title of Miss Wheelchair USA. And there are, 10, 15, 20 plus women who did not get that title and they work just as hard. And so, what happens with you backstage is totally different than what I see for me. Because I am producing and I am directing, it's always when the music starts and the opening introduction happens and the lights are happening and the camera happens, and I know that those ladies are supposed to hit the stage and I see the right people at the right time and it happens, it's like, phew. And that to me is just the culmination of a lot of work, not only for the contestants, but all the volunteers, all the team, all the tech people, everybody that's put their heart and soul into that to see these ladies actually get to experience everything that we've all worked so hard to put together. You know, that's a cool thing for me. You know, there are so many things throughout the week, you know, and it could be the unexpected person. I mean, that particular year I was talking about, I was really questioning whether or not we were going to continue because it is a lot of work for everybody involved. And it is stressful, not just for the contestants, for all the volunteers, for all the technicians. There's a lot that goes into it. And people count on each piece of the pie to make it all happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that particular year, it was like, yeah, I need to rethink this. I think we might be done. I've been doing this a long time. And it was a particularly trying year for everybody. And that Sunday, when everybody was leaving, one of the volunteers said, hey, you know, I want to tell you what was going on with that young man. And I said, all right, what do I need to fix? Because that's what I thought was going on. And he told me this story. And of course, we're sobbing because it was like, I never thought about it that way. I never looked at that piece of it. You know, our concern is always about the ladies, which are our number one concern. But the people that hear those stories and the people that see these women and the people that learn from their experiences, how this program affects their life, not only on the pageant stage, but throughout the year, it does change people's lives and hopefully always for the best. But that particular year, his story made me go, okay, we'll do one more year. We'll do one more year. And that was, you know, probably 8 or 9 or 10 years ago at this point. I'm not sure, but it was a while ago. And, you know, we keep going every year and there's always something good, always.
Well, that is a good place for us to stop. I think it will be continue on for year and year and year and year and year. I always hear positive things. And again, I always, it's one of the highlights of my year, and I keep in touch with people myself. You know, I don't know if you know this or not, but one of your volunteers last year that was volunteering, who I think she lives in Ohio or near or something, she kept in touch with me. She goes to NYU, and she actually worked on my recent documentary on Teddy Cosmo, the downtown East Village. She was the assistant director. So
I saw her picture. Yeah,
meeting family on stage. As we go backstage and behind the scenes, we meet up and we still keep in touch. And she was delightful to work with. Lindsay,
she's coming back this year too. Awesome.
So it was a great, and she made great good friends with Teddy. And, you know, also keeping with the family, Sarah, first runner up, and Troy, because a lot of that documentary is about interable couples. They actually did an interview for that documentary as well. So there's a bit of Miss Wheelchair USA Family in the recent documentary that's out now, that's making the rounds now. So it's always a lot of fun, and it's always a pleasure to see you, Lowery. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for seeing us again. This is a new studio. I know we're filming, but I'm just going to ask Zachary, how did we do? Does it look good?
Looks good.
Okay, well, look good or bad or sound good or bad, it's going out. I don't know what to tell you. There you go. There you go. Perfect timing. You look gorgeous, Lowery. I can't wait to see you whenever that will be. I don't know, so we'll talk soon. Okay.
Pretty soon.
See you soon.
Thanks. Love you.